May I also request now the IT team to stop the screen share so that Madam can start sharing her screen.
Yeah, I have a presentation. I think I have the access to present the slides.
Madam, you can do that now. Please try.
Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction. I don't know whether I have been strategically chosen to talk about this topic because I specialize in foreign policies and I studied about India and the United States foreign policies. But believe me, studying about the global issues is very, very relevant to today, more than it was a couple of decades ago, I should say, because of the kind of situation that we are currently facing. I personally feel that all students, irrespective of the discipline they choose, must be, taught about international relations and the importance of the foreign policy and the importance of the cordial relation that one nation develops with other nations. So saying so, let me present the, I think the screen,
Madam, you are the co-host, so you should be able to, yes.
Yeah, is it visible, ma'am?
I think it is opening. Yes, now it is opened. May I request you to put it in presentation mode?
Yeah. My system takes a very slow command. Hope yes. Now it is fine.
Yes, it is fine, madam. Go ahead, please.
Thank you so much, ma'am, again. And Dr. Smita Shukla very well put it across that national education policy is talking about, giving global citizenship education to our learners. So let me begin by what NEP recommends. I have been told to focus more on the implementation perspective, but however, I will be setting context before I get into actual implementation. So I'm just giving you an overview of what NEP talks about introducing global citizenship education, and also a little about what is happening at the global level, so that when we start introducing GCE at our higher education institution, we can actually borrow it from the best practices that's already available in elsewhere. So the National Education Policy 2020 recommends providing learners with global citizenship education, primarily to make them aware of and understand the global issues. I'm sure all of us agree that we are not living in an isolated island now. It is essential, very essential for our students to be aware of and understand the global issues, because we are all very interconnected now. So this will, once they have a very good awareness and understanding of the global issues, the belief is they also become active promoters of more peaceful, tolerant, inclusive, secure, and sustainable societies. For the same reason, the NEP recommends introducing global citizenship education as a part of the mainstream education. It starts from the school education, and as we progress towards tertiary education, the GCE is going to be strengthened. So this is basically in response to the global changes and also in realization of the interconnectedness of the contemporary world. So there, as we know, there's a lot of shift happening in the role of education. A lot of discussions, debates, and discourses is happening at the national level and at the global level. A couple of decades ago, the main role of education was to transform the knowledge, the information to the learners. But now the role of education is beyond simply the development of knowledge and cognitive skills. Now its role is in building values, soft skills, and attitudes among learners to ensure they understand and lead some of the global issues in social, political, cultural, economic, and environmental areas. It could be like, issues concerning poverty, issues concerning refugees, or conflict zones, war, or energy. So we want our education to not just pass on the information and knowledge about things, but ensure that our students have attitudes and develop such skills towards resolving these issues. Now, education is also expected to facilitate international cooperation. The 2 years of pandemic is a great example for this one. And it also expects to promote social transformation in a highly innovative way. So we are directing our students towards building a more just, peaceful, tolerant, inclusive, and sustainable world. So education now is seen as an enabler for global collaboration and beyond national borders. So what exactly is global citizenship education? One thing we need to realize is global citizenship education is certainly does not imply a legal status of having a citizenship of a country or having a citizenship of any organization. It mainly refers to a sense of belonging to a broader community, common humanity. So it basically promotes a global gaze, which links local to the global and the national to the international. So it is imbibing a sense of belongingness to a greater world, greater community. And it is also a way of understanding, acting, and relating oneself to others through accepting diversity, to accepting pluralism. I know a country like India, which is very, very diverse, and we don't have any sort of a polarization here. But at times, even a diverse country like ours is so marginalized because of probably ideological isolation or any such issues propagating within a community or within a society. So it is very, very critical that we move beyond this, and the same scenario is at the global level. So basically, GCE brings to front that each individual's life has implication in day-to-day decision that directly connect the global with the local and vice versa. We are experiencing the kind of global climate change that's happening. This is an evidence to this, how our own individual act is impacting the global climate. So how do we create that connect that my students' personal action has a direct bearing on the global happening is what GAC talks about. So how did this came up? In fact, since the beginning of the century, a lot of discussions are happening on sensitizing our learners towards global citizenship education. In fact, the Sustainable Development Goal 4 talks about offering quality education for all throughout their life, including global citizenship. So one of the main recommendation of the SDG 4 is giving access or imparting global citizenship education to all citizens across the globe. Since India did not have a new education policy at the beginning of the century, when we got NEP 2020. So NEP 2020, responding to the SDG goals, has included global citizenship education as a primary component of the education, beginning from school until the tertiary education and beyond. So as per the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, it says by 2030, the international communities have agreed to impart skills and knowledges concerning GCE to all its citizens. So in response to this, all the countries, including India, has incorporated this in its educational policy. So now when we talk about offering GCE, there are different ways of offering, but one more important way of approaching GCE education is through universities. Now, universities have a greater responsibility to promote this global citizenship by teaching their learners about a larger global community and how our learners can make use of their skills and education to contribute to the greater community. So now GCE is going to become an important pillar of the entire curriculum that we are going to design under NEP. So what are the core aims of GCE? I have largely borrowed it from the United Nations policy document because in India, we are still working on that. UGC has come up with the 4-year undergraduate program curriculum, and national higher education curriculum framework is also going to come up. So there are a lot of learning outcomes defined in these documents. So those learning outcomes definitely align with what the global education on global citizenship education is talking about. So the UNESCO curricular guidance basically defines global citizenship as, inculcating a sense of belonging to a broader community and common humanity. That is going to be the core spirit of the entire GCE education. And it emphasizes political, economic, social, and cultural interdependency. So interdependence and interconnectedness is something that's going to be the underlying philosophy of the GCE. So whatever subject or disciplines we are going to integrate with, we must ensure that these components are taught to the students. So GCE aims to build the knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes that learners need to be able to contribute to a more inclusive, just, and peaceful world. The fundamental difference here is we are no longer limited to my own country, my own state, or my own community. My responsibility does not stop here. So as a citizen, I have a responsibility. I am accountable to my action at the global level. So this is a fundamental shift in the sense of our students' belongingness. Now I have an individual identity, but moving on, how do I have an identity that connects with the global identity? So what are the key learning outcomes when we look at the entire education? What key learning outcomes should we aim for? So this global citizenship education, as per the UNESCO's guideline, they define 3 key domains of learning, that is cognitive, socio-emotional, and behavioral domain. So under these 3 major domains, there are key learning outcomes very well defined. Under cognitive, it is basically relating to the national and global issues, understanding the key challenges, connecting ourselves to the key issues. It could be sustainable development goals, it could be climate changes. And under socio-emotional component, the key learning outcome would be how do I connect myself with the larger humanity? So how do I connect from the socio-emotional point of view to the larger people and larger community? Like it would be how I connect myself with helping for human rights development, or how do I connect myself to develop empathy, solidarity with a larger community. So it's a feeling at the first level. In the cognitive domain, I acquire the knowledge and skills required, And as the student move on, he or she would acquire social and emotional connectivity to a larger section. And then the last, under behavioral component, the outcome would be how I have changed myself in response to what I have learned as a part of the global citizenship education. For example, we talk about the sustainable development goals, or we talk about mitigating global climate changes. So how am I acting? What changes have I brought within myself to mitigate the global climate changes? So we can come up with a lot of behavioral changes once we succeed in offering this education. But however, when we develop our curriculum based on what we are identifying at the first level, you can define your own cognitive, socio-emotional, and behavioral components. And accordingly, we can list out the learning outcomes. So depending on what we want to offer, we can probably go for human rights development, or how do we instill peace, or how do we fight for poverty. So any theme can be identified, and accordingly we can match the socio emotional component and behavioral component change in the students learning. So what are the main learning objects that the GCE can put forward? GCE has a very critical role to play in equipping learners with competencies, basically to deal with the dynamic and interconnected world. And we know this 21st century is very, very dynamic, and it's ever changing. Governments and organizations are totally in a unprepared way to anticipate how changes would take place, whether it is at the climatic front, or whether it is at the uh, country's relationship, or a political scenario, or even at the development front. When we talk about the 21st century, we know that this has been highly dynamic century, and because of the intrusiveness of the technology and ever-changing technology, it has become more difficult for the countries and leaders and for people to anticipate how things are going to change. So when we talk about GCE, we should ensure that GCE also instills such learning object in students, that they are able to anticipate how things are happening. So fundamentally, we are going to instill an ability, an attitude which is supported by an understanding of multiple levels of identity. As I mentioning, we have an individual identity to start with, and we have an identity with our immediate family, immediate community, and state and national. What GCE says is we need to inculcate an attitude which goes beyond individual identity and different levels of identity, and integrate with a collective identity. So we cut across their religion, the language, the ethnic, and any other differences. So we go beyond all differences to identify ourselves with one collective integrated community. So collective identity, giving a collective identity, an attitude of sensing that collective identity is very, very important objects of the GEC learning. And next is giving a deep knowledge of global issues like climate change, which is very, very important, and also sensitizing them on the conflicts that's happening between and among countries. It is not only the political conflict that we are seeing today, we are also seeing ethnic conflicts that's happening between and among different communities. At times, these ethnic conflicts are beyond borders. politically, we may not have any conflict, but ethnic conflict is something that are very, very visible. So how do we give deep knowledge about this and also inculcate universal values such as justice, equality, dignity, and respect for other communities, other culture. And with respect to cognitive skills, which emphasize on thinking critically, systematically, and creatively, these are very, very important for our learners so that they develop skills that are necessary for them to recognize global issues and develop uh, the different perspectives and different dimensions, and also respect the perspectives of others. So cognitive abilities are critical so that they understand the issue logically and not with any biased or in any prejudiced manner. So the non-cognitive objects of the GEC learning would be skills including social skills such as empathy and conflict resolution, communication skills with other communities. Communities could be on the other side of the border, and aptitudes for networking with people of different community, people of different sect and culture, and interacting with people of different backgrounds, origin, and people who have totally a different perspective. It's not necessary that I come from a democratic political system, so I need to interact with people and people of a country which has democratic principles. So this is very important that we sensitize our learners on all those differences, highlighting how essential it is to uh, cut across the political barriers and interact with people, irrespective of whether they represent democratic principles or whether they represent dictatorship or oligarchy, any such political systems. So some of the behavioral capacities that we need to ensure inculcating are to act collaboratively and responsibility to find global solutions for global challenges. And we have to strive for the collective good because we have realized that if we develop our community alone with no regards or no respect for the larger communities, we are not leading towards a sustainable development of the global. So if I don't ensure peace in my neighborhood, I definitely cannot have a peace within my territory, is what the philosophy of GCE is. So in most of the formal setting like university education, GEC can be delivered as an integral part of the existing subjects. Or as an independent subject area, if there are no such scope for such integration in the already existing subjects. I will talk more about this in the forthcoming slide. So however, most countries have succeeded in offering GEC through integrated models. And these integrated models of education have been more impactful on learners rather than offering GCE as a standalone education courses. So how do we approach GCE education? GCE can be offered as an independent, standalone, separate subject. There are few institutions across the globe which offer global citizenship education as a standalone subject with few credits. And there is another way of offering GEC. There are basically three approaches to that one. One approach is as a standalone subject. The second approach to GCE is integrating GCE with the existing subjects as like civics, social science, environmental studies, or geography, or history, or religious study, science, music, language studies. And some of the colleges now in US and Europe have introduced sustainable development courses on sustainable development course. It is still at the developing level. Only few universities are experimenting with this course. Probably this can also become part of offering GCE. So you can integrate with the existing, whatever you're already offering in your university, you can integrate with those subjects. So another way is whether we can offer global citizenship education through cross-disciplinary and multidisciplinary approaches. This is basically collaborating between different subjects using through use of information communication technology, where we can have a greater connect with the larger community, larger subject discipline. So interdisciplinary, cross-disciplinary, transdisciplinary can be another approach to promoting GCE. So very critical for the success of global citizenship education is pedagogy. So innovative and transformative pedagogy is key to the success of global citizenship education. So teachers are going to be playing very important role, but there are some of the best practices in terms of GCE pedagogies. One is whether we can whether the university can support student or youth-led initiatives. More often in many countries, youth power or youth icons have just become a rhetoric. But it's time that we consider young people as a driving force. And these are the people who are going to promote the values that is underlining global citizenship. And they are the one who are going to drive the global agenda for change. And therefore, it is very, very important when we introduce GEC, we should ensure that we have pedagogical approaches which are going to support youth-led initiatives. So youth need to be acknowledged and they need a lot of support, not only as learners, but also as educators, advocates, and leaders. So we have a lot of platforms at the international level wherein youth are given a greater space to promote education, to become educators as ambassadors of change and development. And they're leading when it comes to global climate changes. They're leading several initiatives, pushing even the governments and policy makers to take a decision. So it's very important that we engage and with young students. Engagement and participation of young students becomes very important. We must encourage and support them for this. We should view them as not only future citizen, but we should see them as citizens of now. We are not just preparing them to become a future citizen, we are preparing them and we must treat them as the citizens of now. They are there now to resolve issues, they're there now to address the issues. So that's how our pedagogical approaches should be directed towards. So to do this, the university must encourage students' association with larger issues, encourage them to set up forums, encourage them to participate in the national and global issues. And there are many such organizations and NGOs which encourage youth participation at the international level. So whenever such opportunity comes up, university must create a space so that the students are easily facilitated and supported to be a part of the larger global participation or global involvement. So in fact, the UNESCO has developed a lot of forums for young people. So I do see a few Indian citizens being an active part of that, but still there are a lot of universities and colleges in India wherein young talents are not explored enough. So GCE can become one such platform through which our universities and colleges can promote our students to participate at the global level, not just as a competition, but there are many other platforms wherein you can represent the voice of the country, you can represent the voice of the community. And this also will provide an opportunity to collaborate with other such entities at a global level. Many student organizations are there supported by universities and colleges. Some are supported by civil society organizations, and several have been supported by the UNESCO initiative. So our students can directly connect with, and every year there is a lot of such opportunities created to them. Towards this September, whenever the United Nations conference happens, a lot of openings will be there for young people to participate and be a part of the global transformation that's taking place to accomplish the SDG goals. So our students with the knowledge of global citizenship and global participation, I'm sure they can become active involver in all the changes that's happening at the global level. And certainly those global learnings can be brought back to the country and at the community level. And at the same time, whatever experiments have been happening at the community level can be shared at the global level for the best practices. So there's a lot of online learning opportunities are happening, especially for global citizenship education, because GCE calls for a greater collaboration, partnership, and learning from other communities, learning from greater network. Online learning will definitely increase their involvement. This can happen through a lot of open learning platforms, social media, and they can make use of the net connectivity and networking with other groups for mutual learning, for collaborative working. So there are a lot of innovative approaches. Blended learning now, as per the UGC, blended learning has occupied important place where UGC recommends 40% of learning can be online. So we can also explore whether there are any good courses or any mutually impactful courses which your university can offer to other students under similar exchange program. And our students can learn from others' best experiences. So another approach that has been quite successful in other countries is sports-based approach to GCE. And as we know, sports has been used as a very good learning tool to create deep and long-lasting lessons in terms of justice, tolerance, diversity, and human rights. In fact, many countries use sports diplomacy to reduce the tension, to reduce the conflict, and at the same time, increase the cooperation and collaboration between countries and people. So sports can be taken up as one such pedagogical intervention. And sports is also known to be inculcating social values and goals of collaboration, persistence, and fair play. So we can definitely make use of sports to bring those elements of attitudes and values into the learning through having a long-term engagement with different players, different sports, and different community of players. And as we know, sports also promote social cohesion and mutual understanding and respect. Uh, those who play, those who have sports attitude, they know it better when to accept the laws, when to extend the hand to the opponents to congratulate them when they win. So these attitudes are very, very important. These values are very, very important. When we have two different opponents, when we start respecting the way they play, that's where we are actually broadening the horizon of our students towards self to thinking of global connectedness. So there are a lot of enablers. The conditions are very conducive condition that is very important for a GCE to be successful. One such critical enabler is faculty members. So until unless faculty members think transformative pedagogy, uh, I don't think the succeed in offering GEC as knowledge, GEC as a component of education, but what it is actually looking at transforming the attitude and behavior of the changes, that we can see only when our faculty members became enabler or a facilitator of the entire learning process. So here participatory teaching learning process is best suitable for successful GCE, which largely include the practices that are student centered or learner centered. And it is holistic and foster awareness of local challenges, collective concerns, and responsibilities. So, what we talk about involvement and experiential learning is very, very critical for GCE because it
Hello. It looks like we have lost connect with Padmavathi madam. We are just no connecting again with her. Kindly bear with us for a few minutes. We regret the technical difficulty which is emerging. Dr. Padmavathi BS is joining in some time. Uh, Dr. Padmavathi BS has joined. May I request the host to locate Madam from the participants list and make her co-host again? I request Prasad, the ICT team, to make Padmavathi Madam co-host, please.
Done, ma'am. Done.
Yes, okay. Madam, you are back. Now you can share your screen. You are the co-host again. Padmavathi, madam, over to you. You have to unmute yourself. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I did.
Okay,
I did.
thank you
I
so
did.
much. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll put it on a. Hope the screen is visible.
Ma'am, you are on.
I hope the presentation is visible.
Yes, madam. Screen is visible
Yeah.
now.
So I was talking
Yes,
about
yes.
the conducive environment that we need to create for successful GCE. One of the important factor enable is the faculty members, and faculty members often in our country, in our education system, more than students do anything, teachers or faculty, they themselves do it, right? More often the learning happens to us than to the students. But here, if we need to sensitize our students to global citizenship education, it's very important that we step back and ensure that we just become an enabler or a facilitator. A lot of learning has to happen by students through involvement. So it has um, a pedagogical approaches, the teaching learning process, which are very suitable for successful GEC practices, are one, learner. We need to have a pedagogy which is learner centered or student centric, which is holistic and foster awareness of the local challenges, collective concerns, as well as our responsibilities, and encourage dialogue and respectful learning, and also recognize cultural norms, national policies, and international frameworks that are very, very impact on the formation of our value system. So we should also ensure that our pedagogical approach promote critical thinking and creativity that are very, very empowering and are solution oriented, and develop resilience and action competence among our students. The 2 years of pandemic has taught us a totally a different lifestyle, and in fact now resilience has become an important um, component of education system. We need to build such an attitude and value system and empower our learners to be resilient, because the changes is happening at very frequently, and the changes that's happening are totally unanticipated. So it is more critical for us as faculty members to see that we adopt a pedagogical approach that's more participatory in nature. So GEC, it's not only focused on giving them the knowledge and skills of global issues, but also ensure that we empower them to address and resolve those issues. So we need to develop a pedagogical approach which is very suitable for them to build these values in them. So teacher capacity building becomes an important component, because teachers and faculty members also need to be sensitized on the content and pedagogy, very essential for GCE. A lot of such opportunities. We have international faculty and teacher exchange programs, wherein teachers and faculty members can visit other countries, learn about the cultures and societies. If this is feasible within the university framework, this can be definitely encouraged. If not between and among countries, India is so very diverse. We have many countries within India. So the coastal region can actually visit to the northeast and vice versa. So the university can identify such culturally diverse and different communities, and visit themselves, and also see that students visit and get an orientation and understanding of those different cultures. And online platforms are one for both for students and faculty members to um, enroll and expand their knowledge practices. So there are a lot of online platforms available. You can learn, borrow the best practices. You can collaborate with other faculty members, and also making use of ICT. You can enroll for a lot of certificate courses, which does not will be very heavy on finance. My personal feeling is universities and UGC must sponsor such courses for faculty members, and also see that they are given that space within the university time, so that they can complete such courses to become more impactful facilitator while teaching this GCE. This will also help our faculty members to broaden their own network with other such faculty groups. They can exchange pedagogical strategies, resources, and many other tools necessary for evaluation and assessment as well. So assessing the learning outcome is one of the major challenges. Even at the global level, there is no consensus of how do we measure whether our students have learned the objectives of the GCE. Depending on the context and what we teach our students, we can devise our own assessment tools, but broadly, based on the input that we give to our students, like what resources we offer to them, what tools and learning environment we create to them, and based on what process we have adopted, like teaching methodologies, types of actions, learners' engagement and their participation, and based on the outcome, so what knowledge, values, attitudes, skills, and impact they have created on community, we can develop a broad rubric for evaluation and assessment, which may include these three important components, like assessment of the knowledge and skills, assessment of attitudes and values, and behaviors. As you see, the assessment increasingly becomes very challenging. So assessing the knowledge and skills about global challenges or sustainable development goals or climate change is rather easy to do that. But when we move forward, like how do we assess whether our students have imbibed those attitudes and values? That's a one step up in the challenges. So how do we see whether our students have the identity with the global instead of individual identity? How do we assess that whether our students have crossed the levels of identity? So this is where you have to develop different ways of observation and basically looking at their behavior, their involvement, and their participation. So when an opportunity given, whether our students, give their voice to the marginalized, give their voice to the justice, fight for the human rights. So this is one, and how our students are involved in civic activities. Like, are they a member of any NGO, or are they interning with any NGO in the area? Or what pro-environmental behaviors have they changed? What personal changes have they been following? For a simple example is whether our students are using personal vehicles to commute to the college. Elsewhere, are they using public transport? Whether the students are using plastic without absolutely giving any sense about the crisis that it's creating at the global climatic changes, or what is their attitude towards single-use plastic, whether they decline to use potable water coming in the plastic bottles. So these are some of the behavioral changes that, as a faculty member we can see. But however, when you look at the entire GCE, it requires a larger change in the support system. And it has not been successful enough if it is given as a single subject education or a single subject course. It has seen larger success when it is integrated with other existing subject, and more impactful when it is offered through multidisciplinary and transdisciplinary courses. But nevertheless, the importance of global citizenship is very, very evident now because of the kind of global issues that we are facing. And this global issue is going to be even more complex and even more larger if we don't involve our young people in understanding those issues and also enabling them to participate in resolving these issues. So this is where the philosophy and core of the entire GCE lies. Now I keep the floor for open for question, and I've crossed few minutes. I hope I'm not taken the time of the next session.
Hello. Yeah, madam. So you have completed within time, and several questions have also come in. So let me start with the Q&A with the first question which has come in. This has come in from Dr. Sangeeta Joshi. She's asking, are the courses based on GCE available online on platforms like Coursera, Udemy? Because I think what is the concern is that in case we are talking about global citizenship concept integration with our curriculum, we need to have the courses also, because yesterday when the discussion took place, and one of the participants had asked about the timeline of implementation. So it was suggested that maybe within a year's time, we should be looking at that some implementation is start. So what do you have to say on this? That what is the status of availability of these courses? Yeah.
Ma'am, instead of recommending the private platforms like a Coursera, I recommend exploring the United Nations platform. Because United Nations as a part of its sustainable development goals and education for all initiative, which was initiated 2 decades ago, it is recommending and propagating global citizenship education for all. Especially there is network of students as well as faculty members for collective learning. That would be a good way forward.
Thank you, madam. There is another connected question which same faculty has put through. She's saying GCE objectives when we refer to, is it for awareness of other community cultures or enabling individuals to be compatible with global platforms? And in case we are talking about compatibility with global platforms, then effectively it would happen only when peer collaboration across the globe is possible. So what is the visualization?
All of that, ma'am. We start from having a knowledge of others, then we start appreciating the differences, the other culture, we accept it. And yes, once that is done, we will definitely move towards collaboration. So it is important to have a knowledge. It is important to accept and appreciate the differences. And only then you are open for collaboration. And sometimes having an openness for the collaboration and learning from others itself, gives way for greater learning. So all this as a step-by-step does happen as a part of the GCE.
The same faculty also wants to know is that are there any current proposals or exercise going on at the national level for collaboration with foreign universities to facilitate universities and colleges?
Yes, ma'am, that is happening. In fact, if I had to speak about the Karnataka state, the Karnataka Higher Education Department is collaborating with a couple of universities in Europe. But this is not only for GCE, we are looking at a larger collaboration. When we do a larger collaboration with other universities, we can incorporate GCE as one of the components. And as I was talking, if we offer GCE as a standalone course, it wouldn't create the kind of impact that we are looking at. So if you have a GCE offered as a larger collaboration and partnership with other universities and communities and groups, that will create greater impact.
Thank you, madam. One more question, which I think is very meaningful. Dr. Uma Nehre is asking, are there any global certificate courses for faculty? I think the concern relates to capacity building, because for many
Yes.
teachers across the streams, this might be a relatively new concept. So
Absolutely.
is there anything in the pipeline, or is there anything existing? If you can.
There are, in fact, India has been slightly slow on this one, but there are many countries which have taken up this on a priority basis. If I get access to the email, I can share such platforms, and the countries which are providing this, capacity building. You have access to the materials as well. The very good digital resources is available for teachers and faculty members across the globe. As I was mentioning, UNESCO has a lot of material. I can definitely share with the faculty members if they wish. So,
thank you.
And you can also take up some of the courses. There are courses, online courses. Faculty members can take it up, but I personally feel that the universities and colleges must take this up and collaborate with other such universities and maybe with UNESCO as well, or with the World Bank, to come up with a greater capacity building program for successful GEC in India. NEP is a very good context for us to introduce global education now, citizenship education. We must make use of this and see that we have a proper capacity building happening for this one.
So what you have suggested is, I think it's going to be a great value addition. So we'll request if you can share that with us through mail, and we will be sharing it with all the participants. So let me continue with the other related questions. One more question which has come is, I think, related to where exactly this course should be placed when you are talking about teaching curriculum, and can it be introduced as elective? What exactly is the visualization? How it should be?
Ma'am, now you must have already got the 4-year undergraduate program, or the holistic multidisciplinary 4-year undergraduate UG program, which UGC has already come. And in that, they have also identified graduate attributes, right? So we have 16 graduate attributes, if I'm right. One is the discipline specific, and the rest are generic graduate attributes. So if you can identify those graduate attributes, you can integrate GEC with those graduate attributes. At times it can be interdisciplinary, or some of the components of GEC can be taught as, a single, standalone issue. So sincerely, like climate change that's happening, the sustainable development that's happening, each one of us need to know about that, every student, irrespective of what they choose. So if these things can be integrated with the already given graduate attributes, then we are good to go ahead. In fact, we can actually do that.
Thank you, madam. One more question is related to collaboration. Professor Dr. Mahadev Jagtap is asking how collaborations can be done with culture and atmosphere with global countries. I think what he wants to know is facilitation platform and others. What might be there?
So there are lot of other such civil society organizations independent of the government, and some of the organizations are supported by UNESCO initiative. So our students can become a part of such platforms. So there's a large community outside, very active with regard to global citizenship education, and we as faculty members can definitely promote, and you would always be there as a point of contact, and you will be leading your student community to connect with the larger global network. So there is a young men program, and UNESCO also every year invites young people from across the globe to participate in this. I don't see many Indians over there, but I'm sure with more knowledge about the global happening, our students will get connected to those networks.
Thank you, madam. I think next question which has come up is related to what you had just said. But let me put it across because this is a query. The question has come from Pratibha Nath. She's asking how incorporation of GCE will develop skills in students.
Yes, ma'am. If you one thing, if we follow the pedagogy that has been proposed for GCE, where we involve our students in learning, we have been very good teachers, we have been very good faculty members, and I'm sure you agree with me. More than students doing in the classroom, we ourselves do for them. And our teaching methodology has been very conventional. But GCE demands a very transformative pedagogy, which is participatory pedagogy, which demands experiential learning for students, the community engagement in the local issues, engagement in the global issues. So whether they have learned or not is, when we take up the assessment and when we see the behavioral changes, attitude changes, then we can be certain, yes, our students have learned. So basically, like I talk about the global issues, are your students sensitive enough towards that? We all know that there is a lot of climate changes happening. After I sensitize my students about the climate changes, have they changed their attitude, or do they still throw garbage on the street? That's how you get to know, assess whether they have learned or not learned. I know Mumbai, every monsoon, the lot of garbage comes on the street in Mumbai. So how much are we responsible for that? So that change we can, as a faculty, we can definitely assess whether they have learned or not. And you would be in a better position to assess than anyone external if you are observing students' attitude and behavior. And you create a platform, you create such a event wherein those attitudes and knowledge comes out. So how do I know whether they know it? Challenge them, throw them a challenge, see whether they come up, ask their opinion about certain issues, very critical global issues. Through their opinion, you will get to know that, yes, my students have really learned about global identity or not. Even the climate, you give them a small area, ask them whether they can be responsible and accountable for upkeeping of that area. So if they pass in all the parameters that you are setting, it simply means, yes, your students are doing really well. So there are different ways of assessing students whether they have learned.
Yeah, thank you, madam. One more question relates to our own platform, which is Diksha. So a faculty member has asked that how good is Diksha platform for faculty programs? Sarah is asking this question. Yeah.
Ma'am, the Swayam and Diksha are very good digital platforms for teachers' capacity building. But GCE itself is a slightly new for Indian education system. So they are still developing on that. But however, when you explore beyond India, explore beyond our own digital platforms, there's a lot of resources that you can, get in touch with.
Madam, one more question which has come up. This has come from Dr. Tapti Mukherjee. She's asking, how does collaboration help the students grow?
Ma'am, actually, this collaboration is very, very important. Let me give an example of collaborating between two communities. Or let me take the example of Mumbai University students collaborating with the Northeast Hills University in Shillong. Okay? This is the terrain is totally different, the culture is totally different. Even though we are living within one country, we are very, very diverse in many ways. So once we have some sort of a collaboration between these two universities, some exchange and exposure happens, we start really appreciating their way of living, their way of dressing, their way of eating, and similarly, they will start appreciating our way. So the collaboration actually brings two entities closer, and it actually addresses the learning gaps and appreciation gaps. So in that way, collaboration widens our own canvas of learning. So when you collaborate with two different entities, the chances that you come up with a greater ability to understand, appreciate, and also borrow the knowledge and skills of other community or other people to resolve our own issues. So it's always when you have a collaboration, it is like two powers coming together to make a greater power. So two universities coming together, the students coming together, you have a bigger learning happening, bigger sensitization happening, and you have a greater voice for justice, peace, and secure world. We know Northeast is challenged with so many political system. They have a totally different culture. They have a different sense of dressing. I mean, maybe it is not a really right platform to share with how the mainstream India views the girls and boys of the Northeast. Why do we do that? So if I have some closer collaboration and talk to them in person, you understand, okay, they're just an extension of me. And they have so rich culture, and the landscape is so rich there. So that sort of a collaboration, bringing together two entities will definitely open up our knowledge, and we acquire more learning and more skills is what my personal thinking is.
So now let me put across the last question of the day. So let me combine both the questions which have come up. One question is from Dr. Ramanullah Khan, other one is from Professor Francis Vedya. Dr. Ramanullah Khan is asking how we can plan an effective work approach for better delivery of GCE, because this is still in conceptualization stage, I believe. That is what he's trying to say. And Francis Vedya is asking that can we have some reference which is available on UGC regarding graduate parameters?
So one, as you are developing this 4-year undergraduate program curriculum for your university, of course, the UGC has come up with a draft curriculum guidance. So when you are developing for your university, it would be nice to think on GCE as well and incorporate. And secondly, sir, in the entire NEP document, GCE maybe it is mentioned in 4 or 5 places. But they say the vision is to empower our students, enable our students to become a global citizens, right? So it is very, very critical. Maybe at this point of time, we may not be seeing the potential of global citizenship education, but this is going to be very, very critical for our students because of the kind of global changes that we are going to face. And the world is becoming smaller and smaller because of the technology. So it is essential our students are given that exposure. So it will, the best way forward is to integrate this within your 4-year undergraduate program, and possibly instead of offering this as a standalone subject, it would be good to integrate with the existing subjects. And multidisciplinary pedagogy would be a very good platform for students to learn. When they're learning a particular concept, they're also sensitized on global responsibility and accountability and how they can address. To give a very small example, lakes and oceans, our lakes and oceans need a lot of treatment. So when I'm talking about oceanography, or when I'm talking about the environment and ecology of my own state, can I also connect them with the global issues? So it would be a good way to bring in within the 4-year undergraduate program, and wherever there is a possibility, we can introduce this education. We may not be calling it as a GCE itself, but the components of GCE can be brought in.
Thank you, Professor Padmavathi. May I also request you that you mentioned about the resources which will be available. So if you can send us the links, we will be sharing it with all the participants. Now I take this opportunity to invite my colleague at University of Mumbai, Professor Dr. Sanjay Ranade, to give vote of thanks. Over to you, Ranade, sir.
Good evening and thank you, Professor Padmavathi. It was a very detailed understanding on the concept, firstly, of global citizenship, but also the policy imperatives of the NEP. And your presentation was very, very detailed on that. On behalf of the University of Mumbai, I thank you for this presentation. And I also thank all the participants for joining in and asking their questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. So to all the participants, we will be very soon resuming the next session. We are giving around 15 minutes, 10 minutes, please assume it, bio break. You can switch off your cameras and maybe exit, but that doesn't mean please do not exit the meeting. Because again, maybe rejoining will take some time. So you can take bio break and come back for a continuation of the meeting in 10 minutes. Madam, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon. We request all the participants to come back again for the session. I hope that you had the bio break, and now we can initiate the session. So our message from UGC HRDC that we will be commencing the session in next 2 to 3 minutes. Kindly join back. We will be initiating the session at 4:10 p.m. This is a message so that everyone is informed. At 4:10 p.m. we will initiate the session. Good afternoon. I welcome back all the participants to this last session of 2-day workshop being organized by UGC HRDC, University of Mumbai. I welcome Professor Karunakar Kotegar. Professor is speaking today on Academic Bank of Credit and NAD Digilocker. Let me also introduce to all the participants Professor Karunakar Kotegar. He is, as you can see on the screen, professor and head Department of Data Science and Computer Application at Manipal Institute of Technology, Manipal. He has over 25 years of experience in teaching and research. He is a syndicate member of Mangalore University nominated by Governor of Karnataka for a period of 3 years. He is a member Karnataka Library Council nominated by Mangalore University Syndicate for 3 years. He has visited more than 28 countries with regard to fellowship, research, and academic administration. He is the secretary of International Association for Exchange of Students for Technical Experience. The body in short is known as IAESTE. It is a 87 member country organization. He is president, in fact, of IAESTE India and is faculty advisor for IAESTE. In addition to that, he is also faculty advisor for AIESCE chapters for Manipal Academy of Higher Education. He was a deputy director of international collaboration of MAHE Manipal 2013 to 2018. He has conducted more than 35 workshops on new education policy, and he also has been running NEP Kannada video series, which was inaugurated by Ashwath Narayana. He has completed a PhD in 2009 and also got postdoctoral fellowship from AIT Ireland. He has several research publications in international index journals. Recently, one of his research work also got US patent. He has received more than 50 lakhs in grants from Government of India. He is Fulbright scholar. He has received that fellowship from USA as well as DAD Germany scholar. Under his supervision, several students have completed a PhD. Several are currently pursuing PhD as well. He has received a Best Teacher Award in 2012, as well as another award, which is Invention Award for from Intellectual Ventures in 2013. Several of his research papers have got Best Paper Award. He has research collaborations with universities like Saarland University, Leibniz University, Hanover in Germany, Deccan University in Australia, and his PhD students have worked on several projects which have been extended by these universities in the past. He is IEE senior member and ISTE life member. May I welcome Professor Karunakar Kotegar A to speak on Academic Bank of Credit and NAT Digilocker. Sir, over to you. May I request IT team to stop their screen sharing so that Professor can share the screen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. Let me share my screen. Whether my screen is visible, madam?
Yes, sir, we can see your screen.
Thank you. And my voice is okay?
Yes,
audible?
Yes, we can hear you clearly. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much for a wonderful introduction. And I want to just add one thing that today, just now, I received another position in the Manipal Academy of Higher Education, which is an IOE by UGC, that is Director for International Relations. So I'm sharing first time with someone that is Mumbai University. Thank you.
Congratulations to you, sir, for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Just now I received. So that's why I'm sharing. Thank you. Thank you. I listened to yesterday's speaker and today's speaker also. And my topic for session is regarding Academic Bank of Credits. Academic Bank of Credits, which enables student mobility across higher education institutions within the country and also with foreign institutions. Welcome to each one of you. My presentation overview, just a glimpse what I'm going to speak today, is why Academic Bank of Credit, then organizational structure of Academic Bank of Credits, functions of Academic Bank of Credits, Academic Bank of Credit implementation methodology, eligibility criteria for approval of higher education institution to register with ABC, monitoring, supporting quality assurance by universities and academic bank of credits, digital repository where I'm going to show you, what is available online, how you can register as a university, as a student. So how higher education institution can register and how students has to register. We all know about NEP. NEP offers several things which are unique in Indian education system. And we all waited for a long time for such a policy which is student-centric, which is highly flexible, which is multidisciplinary, which supports academic mobility. It also supports choosing specific learning path for individual students. It supports multiple entry and multiple exit. And it supports anytime, anywhere, any level of learning. It gives academic autonomy for teachers as well as for students. A teacher learning in a distributed manner, that is the way forward. A lifelong learning and satisfying the quest of knowledge of students as well as teachers. Choose a pace for their studies and allow students to tailor their degree. These are beautiful flavor of National Education Policy 2020. And you all know about this. I don't want to speak anything about this because you're all masters in it. Now the question is how to provide this to all students. To provide these best practices, we need support of a virtual platform, which is Academic Bank of Credit. And that is supported by NAD and Digilocker, which I'm going to speak in my further slides. Organization structure of Academic Bank of Credit. ABC shall be a digital or virtual entity of academic credit database. ABC shall provide variety of services, including credit verification, credit accumulation, credit transfer or redemption, and authentication of academic records. When you look at the functions of Academic Bank of Credit, registered higher education institutions, RHEI, can only upload credits earned by students. Please note, students are not allowed to modify or enter any credits. It's a job of higher education institutes who are registered in ABC. So students are not allowed to do it, but students can only view and credit their whatever earned can be transferred to a respective institute to earn degree from that institute. ABC shall register higher education institutions under set of regulations, which I'm going to speak to you a little later. There are set of regulations which every higher education institution has to follow so as to eligible to register under ABC. The courses undergone by students through online modes are also considered for this. If any students has joined some online courses, he can earn credit from that also. That is also allowed. Not only from other higher education institution, even through ODL mode, he is allowed to earn credits. And one of the important things what higher education institution has to notice, rules and regulations for evaluation, setting the curriculum, and everything is from the higher education institution. It is from higher education institution. So no way ABC is taking away the rights or the liberty of higher education institution. Credits earned and deposited with ABC shall be valid for the purpose of redemption for degree diploma, post-graduation diploma or certificate for varying duration as specified by credit awarding and credit accepting higher education institution. Kindly note, it is only for maximum of 7 years, which I'm going to talk a little later. All higher education institutions, maybe UGC, maybe AICTE, maybe NCTE, are considered as higher education institution. They all can register under ABC. Student may choose courses that is not falling in particular subject domain. This is the beauty. If a particular student admitted in Mumbai University for a degree and he is allowed to choose courses on his own. I will talk about the major and other things little later, but flexibility is with the students to choose the course. But once the student chooses the course, the university has to accept it. But whenever he is choosing, he is allowed to choose, and I am sure in consultation with the university, student will go and choose the subject whatever he wants from other higher education institution. Students shall also have freedom to take additional courses of their aptitude beyond the curriculum. If he wants to acquire some credits and he wants to learn something, he is always allowed to earn those credits. The universities or the higher education institution may accept it or it may not accept, but student is free to earn credit and he can use those credits for various certificates also. Credits from skill courses can be earned. There are occasional education which is available, and the registered occasional courses can also be taken by students. Credits obtained after academic year 21-22 are only eligible. Academic Bank of Credit implementation, how exactly it is implemented. ABC is essentially a credit-based, highly flexible, student-centric facility. And registered higher education institution with approval of their statutory authorities, maybe syndicate, maybe senate, they have to change the rules and regulations so that they can allow course registration, course requirement, acceptance for interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary courses, credits to be offered to such courses, credit transfers and credit acceptance from other approved higher education institution, and the nature of grades to be awarded. All these things need to be approved by the respective approval of the respective approval authority, that is syndicate or senate of the respective universities. And registered higher education institution shall encourage and enable students to customize or design their own degree, utilizing the courses selected by the student from among the courses offered by one or more higher educational institutions. Having said that, the student shall be required to earn at least 50% of the credit from higher education institution awarding the degree or diploma or certificate. Probably you all know that National Education Policy allows students to earn credit from various means, but there is a cap. 50% of the credit should be earned from the same institution where student is registered for getting that academic degree. Also, the student shall be required to earn a required number of credits in the core subject area necessary for the award of the degree, diploma, certificate as specified by the degree awarding higher education institution where the student is enrolled. Once the university decides a particular curriculum, student is allowed to take certain courses, but he cannot take any courses, whatever he wants, and he wants the university to accept it as the required credit from the core, then it is not possible. So university is the ultimate authority to decide in every course what they want to teach and how they want to teach and what credits they are willing to accept. So that is the, within the purview of the university. Students availing flexibility under the facility of ABC are entitled to subscribe only courses of their choice and aptitude, so as to enable them to accumulate credit, not to the entire program of study, leading to the award of degree by the registered higher education institution. That means a university or a higher education institution is offering a degree, but a student from other university wants to take a particular courses, not the whole academic course itself. So he is allowed to join himself for respective courses which are available. The ABC shall maintain a dynamic online directory of higher education institution which satisfies the eligibility criteria stipulated under the regulations. For example, if any students wants to know, that which are the higher education institution where I can take some courses which I can use it to award, to get the degree from my universities. To know that, the ABC lists all higher education institution registered under ABC, so that student can see that and he can register himself for that. Every registered higher education institution shall provide a student counseling and guidance. It's very, very important, because whenever we want to offer such flexibility to the student, we need to give them proper counseling and guidance. Otherwise, they will not understand and it will be a chaos. The students who wants to register, they should know that how to open academic bank account with academic bank of credits, which I'm going to explain it to you at the end of my slide. In regard to the details of utilization of the ABC service in terms of credit definition, credit accumulation, credit transfer, credit redemption, as well as in respect to opening, closure, and validation of academic bank account of students, where such requests are recommended through the parent university or autonomous colleges which are already registered with academic bank of credit. So when a Mumbai university is planning the whole curriculum or the structure as per NEP 2020, you must allow students to learn something from other universities and acquire credit through academic bank of credit. At the same time, if Mumbai University wants other university students to take their course, they need to mandatorily announce those things in the respective university website, which are the courses available for the other university students to take it from Mumbai University. Credit earned by students shall be deposited in the respective ABC, and it is valid not exceeding 7 years. If a student earns a credit for a particular course, he can use that credit to take degree, certificate, diploma, or wherever he wants to use. But it is the maximum 7 years. After that, there is no value for the credit, whatever he earned. As specified by the credit awarding institution and subject to its acceptance by registered higher education institution awarding academic qualification for the purpose of commutation of credits for the award of any degree or diploma or certificate. Provided once he uses the credit to get certificate or degree, he cannot use the same credit for any other purpose. So student should be told clearly that if a student used a credit earned for one certificate or a degree, then it is going to freeze. So he cannot use that for any other purpose. Where a student fulfills the norms of sufficiency of total number of credits and of the nature of credits approved by the higher education institution, for award of specified degree, diploma, then the student is eligible for such award by higher education institution. For example, if an undergraduate program at University of Mumbai is of 160 credit, maximum he can earn 80 credits from various other modes. But at the same time, he should know that what are the credits which are acceptable to higher education institution. He cannot go and accumulate whatever he wants and then claim degree from Mumbai University. That may not be possible. All these guidance and counseling a university has to give it to the respective students. Once used or redeemed, credit earned by student cannot be reused for award of any other formal academic qualifications. With approval of statutory authorities, again, maybe a syndicate or a senate of the university, higher education institution is encouraged to allocate the structure of courses. University should create their own structure where they have to clearly say that, which are the offered core courses, core elective, open elective, selective enhancement, skill enhancement elective, and ability enhancement elective with appropriate credit requirements in order to promote multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary higher education. At the time of creating a curriculum for a degree, please note, university has to decide clearly that which are the core courses, which are the core electives, which are the open electives. These things need to be defined clearly. And most of the time, the highest flexibility is available with open electives and also with skill enhancement electives, ability enhancement electives. More options students can get. Whereas with respect to core courses and core elective, it is better university define it clearly and insist students to learn those courses from the same university rather than allowing students to take it from ABC. But ultimately, it is the decision of the universities what they want to allow for the respective students. In awarding academic qualifications, higher education institution shall follow the norms, guidelines in regard to number of credits, duration of time stipulated from time to time by the commission or the professional standard setting body case may be. Please note, one of the interesting thing which is available with this is availing a relaxation of maximum 1 semester. If a student is taking a course which is minimum 4 semester, if he is a fast learner and he is willing to take those credit within 3 semesters and he want to keep himself free for 1 semester for various other learning, university should give that flexibility to students, because the policy is very vocal about fast learners. And it also says that slow learners need to be accommodated and one has to support them to learn with their own pace. A registered higher education institution may fix its course fee based on number of credits of course for which a student is enrolled. So there are various operational changes which every higher education institution has to make. One is with respect to course fees. Usually course fees are calculated based on the total number of credits. Whether you are offering a full degree or you are offering some set of courses which can be taken by other university students, a fees need to be fixed based on number of credits what that course is going to give him. A higher education institution shall pay a fee for registration as an eligible institution under these regulations. So higher education institution has to pay certain fees to ABC. Eligible criteria. This is very interesting. Who all can register with ABC as a higher educational institution? Universities and autonomous colleges which satisfies one of the following conditions are eligible to register with ABC. The first one is accredited by NAC with minimum A grade, or NBA for at least 3 programs with minimum score of 675. If there are, there are only 2 courses or 1 course, then obviously, the respective course has to have 675 as their marks. Top 100 NIRF ranked institution or similar assessment or accreditation body which may come in future. And also, as per the Times Higher Education or QS ranking, top 1,000 universities in the world can register as Indian universities, register as registered higher education institution in ABC. Institution of eminence or institution of national importance as declared by Government of India can register. So these are the various universities which are allowed to register with ABC. Accreditation or ranking must be valid at the time of registration. Whatever ranking is required at the time of registration, whatever is the rank that is considered. Higher education institution shall obtain approval from the respective statutory authorities, governing councils or executive councils or syndicate or board of management of the respective higher education institution. Approval must be taken before they go for registering this with ABC. Registered higher education institution shall be required to admit students to individual courses in addition to their admission to full degree program. Please note, already you have set of degree program offered by Mumbai University. At the same time, some courses within a particular specialization, you may allow other university students to take those courses. That also you need to define once you are part of ABC. Also, your student must be allowed to take various courses from other higher educational institutions, provided that in order to avoid overcrowding of the courses, a higher education institution shall be permitted to have additional seats in such courses subjected to prior approval. And also, in respect of courses not coming under the purview of any professional standards, then obviously, superannuary seats can be approved by the respective statutory authorities. And it can offer a set of courses exclusively for the purpose of academic bank of credit scheme. If you are giving some special courses which are not part of any of your academic degree, but designed and planned only for the purpose of offering it to other higher education institution students, that is also allowed. Registered higher education institution shall have appropriate educational infrastructure in terms of audiovisual facilities, e-resources, virtual classrooms, studios, etc., and specifically high bandwidth internet to support online and distance learning, and other infrastructure facility for face-to-face theory or practical training is important. A registered higher education institution shall have a web page, on its web page containing details of the facility of academic bank of credit, list of registered higher education institution, guidelines, standard operating procedure for students to utilize the facilities effectively, along with link to the website of ABC. All these information should be made available on the university website, and more support need to be given to students to use this facility. And it shall be responsibility of the higher education institution to monitor the development and operations of academic bank of credits at the university level. There are some quality parameter, there are some supporting which is expected from all higher educational institution. A higher education institution shall offer teacher training, mentoring academic and administrative audit and other measures for improving the quality of performance of ABC, and promotion of holistic and multidisciplinary education with support of ABC, which may be in the form of faculty development program, quality improvement program, professional development program, or technology inculcation program. All these programs are regular affairs of every universities. Henceforth, regarding academic bank of credit also has to be included as part of FDP or QIP. The quality assurance of the implementation of ABC at level of registered university or autonomous college shall be developed by the university or autonomous college concerned, either through the IQAC or any other appropriate structured mechanism as may be decided by the higher education institution. So it is better to keep this job with IQAC of the respective universities. Every registered higher education institution shall upload annually on its website a report of its activities with academic bank of credit, as well as a measure taken by it for quality assurance, quality sustenance, and quality enhancement. There shall be an academic bank of credit grievance redressal mechanism at the level of central government, UGC, ABC, and at the level of higher educational institution which are registered under ABC. Consequences of violation. This is just a note for every educational institution where higher education institution fail to fulfill the conditions or requirement prescribed under these regulations. A commission may, or after providing a reasonable opportunity of being heard, direct the institution to rectify the deficiency within a period of time as may be stipulated by commission, and on failure on the part of higher education institution do so, terminate registration of such institution from ABC. In addition, cease to provide grant under the Act where such grants are admissible to the institutions. So these are the consequences of violation of any of the rules under ABC. Now I'm taking you to NAD, which is available for you. I'm sure Mumbai University might have already registered for all their uploading academic degrees onto National Academic Depository. As of now, over 55 crores of authentic digital educational awards are available in NAD. And it is very easy to publish in NAD. I'm sure most of you may have your own Digilocker account within NAD. And registered higher educational bodies as of now is 1,601, and total awards available within this is 8.65 crores. If you want more statistics about usage of this, please visit the website. There are several different statistics which are available online. There are various functionalities which is available within the NAD. And if you see that, publish your students' academic awards easily. That is one of the facility given to each universities. Henceforth, government is insisting that hard copy of the degree certificate should never be given. It's everything soft copy, and it is safe and available anywhere. So higher education institution has to upload all their academic awards into NAD. How to do that? First, a university or higher education institute has to register under NAD and prepare and upload. It is uploading in mass using CSV file with a zipped format. And there are various templates which are available. Once it is done, a higher education institution has to publish the awards on Digilocker so that students can access those records. Benefit is secure issuance of academic records in students' Digilockers. And digital awards are legal now under IT Act 2000, reduces, eliminates circulation of fake certificates. You know that we see a lot of fake certificates that can be easily avoided. It's globally accepted and easily verifiable digital awards. Whenever verification required, it is easy to do. Otherwise, now students are sending it to respective registrar evaluation of the university to get it verified. So that is a challenging task. The next one is for the students. Accessing of all academic records anytime, anywhere, that flexibility is given to students. And how it works, every student should have their own Digilocker account with a unique ID, and select the board or university from where they graduated or they are pursuing the courses, enter the details, roll number, year of passing, etc. And you can pull out academic awards on submitting all these details. Again, benefits are, it is legal under IT Act, easily shareable and verifiable by anybody, globally recognized, no risk of losing or spoiling academic awards. The third option which is available is for verification. You know that once a student gets degree from a respective university, once he goes and uses that degree for getting some employment, there is a background verification which happens. I'm quoting just one of the example. Okay, now what's happening? They are contacting the respective universities academic section and they are asking them to verify the degree certificates. Rather than that, these centralized verifying agencies also can register with Academic Bank of Credit. It is not only university, not only students, there are set of intermediaries who are always verifying academic records for some companies and some institutions. They can register with ABC for verifying the records. The process is again register on Digilocker as a partner, get consent from the individual. It's not easy to get it, but ABC has to approve it. Then enter the requisite details and then get the response from NAD about verification. No risk of relying upon fake and forged certificate. Allowed by IT Act, access to millions of digital awards from a single source of truth. Consent based on online and reliable verification process. Please note, anybody wants to verify records of students, then students' consent is mandatory. So NAD cannot simply allow verifier to verify the records, but student has to give consent to allow those respective agencies to verify his academic record. Then only NAD will permit them. And the other beauty is earning credit from skill-based education. So there is a NCVET which gives skill-based education under that, and whenever students wants to earn credit for the skills whatever he learned and get certified from them, then those things also automatically lands into ABC. So from ABC, respective universities can take the credit which he earned for the skills. NSS, okay, you all know about NSS. NSS, once students joins, those credits are also available within Academic Bank of Credit. And now my next step is how exactly a higher education institution can register. There's a 4-step process, and which says that sign up via Digilocker. So anybody wants to use NAD, which is a depository, they need to use NAD through Digilocker only. Institution has to create its own account using Digilocker authentication service, and Digilocker account holder here is the account owner for that particular account, and account owner is institution's authorized decision-making authority or a point of contact for matters related to Digilocker. And once he enters, then select the institution name from the pop-up list. Automatically, it will autofill the essential information such as address, telephone numbers, websites, etc. Modify autofilled information showing against your institution if any change required, then you create it. Confirm account owner details. Please enter the account owner's information. This person will represent the institution as a nodal officer and will be point of contact for Digilocker or NAC. The account owner should be someone in the position of authority within the institution. There are set of terms and conditions which have to be accepted so that you can go further. Account owner will receive welcome email. Details provided will be verified by NAD and UGC. Upon successful verification, the account gets approved, followed by an email to account owner. Now, institution can publish data on Digilocker. These are the 4 steps every higher education institution has to follow to register under ABC. Now, let us understand from the student's perspective. The following features is available for students under ABC. Registration for a unique ABC ID. Every student has to register himself onto ABC. Then at the end of registration, he will get a unique ID, which he has to share with the universities wherever he is studying the whole course or a particular course where he wants to study. Okay, so that he has to share. Viewing the credits, whatever credits he earns, that is available in the dashboard once he logs in. Selection of multiple credits, and also transfer and redemption is possible for student. And viewing, once he puts a request for transferring his credits, he can view the status of that. Okay, because once the students says that these are the credits which I need to transfer, then obviously the university has to accept it. If university is not accepting, nothing can be done. So university has to accept the credit what students want to redeem onto the respective university. And he can always wait and watch for his request online. Reinitiating the credit transfer at their convenience. And it is not necessary that, how many times and when they want to do it. He can do it anytime. And these are the set of steps for student. Student registers with the mobile number. A unique ID is allotted to him. ID can be shared to all academic institutions wherever he is enrolled. And students logs in with an OTP from the registered mobile number. Student can access the ABC dashboard, and credit mapped to ABC ID are displayed on the dashboard. Student selects the credit of his or her choice, initiates transfer by selecting beneficiary institution. So he has to select. Okay, so respective university will give him the credit, but he has to select those credit and transfer it to his institution so that his institution can approve that credit and accept it. Once the institution accepts it, his credit gets freezed. So it provides additional detail necessary for transfer also. Then he has to wait for credit transfer process. Wherever he wants to transfer, the respective academic institution checks the eligibility of transfer request based on UGC guideline. The academic institution approves or rejects credit transfer request partially or fully based on the course structure. If your students wants to bring some credit from somewhere else, and if you are not okay with it, you can straight away reject. So provides a reason for approval or rejection. With a suitable reason, a university can reject request of redemption of credit from student. Student can check the request status and get notified of the credit transfer, and all credit trails are maintained and reflected in the student's account. So this is how students can work. So this is a student dashboard. You can easily see on my screen that there is a 178 total credits what this student has from various institution. Okay, so University of Delhi, IGNOU, and also IIT Delhi. You can see that. And if you expand that from those universities, which are the courses he has taken, that also you can see, which is shown below. And whenever he wants to transfer, there is a transfer credit which is available. He has to click that, and then he has to select which are the courses which he wants to transfer, and then agree for some set of terms and conditions. select his institution and send the transfer request. So once the transfer request is sent, it will go to the academic institution and he has to wait for approval of the respective institution. If you look at the dashboard of the academic institution, once you get into NAD, once you log into NAD, you can easily see that on the top, there is a ABC, which is available, which is red block. So if you click that, automatically you will get all the pending requests. So credit transfer request, a university can see, and then they can expand and see that which are the courses, who is the student, what he is expecting, and then based on that, either accept or reject. For both, institution has to give reasons for it. So finally, acceptance or credit transfer is the responsibility of the student. Credit acceptance or reject is the decision of the respective universities. So with this, I'm concluding my presentation. And I always believe that education is the manifestation of perfection already existing in man. Swami Vivekananda. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I am open for any question and answer.
Thank you so much, Professor Karunakar. We are receiving questions. Let me take them up one by one. So the first question which I am putting to you is a basic question you can answer. Mr. Hemant Vasant Chavan has asked, is there any charge involved in registering through Digilocker? I think as an institution, individual, both the scenarios you can explain.
As an higher education institution, there is a nominal charge which higher education institution has to pay to ABC, not to students.
So if I understand correctly, for benefit of all, students can register for free.
Yes.
Higher education institution has to pay.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Next question is from Dr. Seema Agashe. She's asking whether institute has a choice of offering few courses only in ABC or all have to go under ABC. All
it is up to the higher education institution, either university or autonomous college. They can allow their degree courses. If they are offering some set of degree courses, within those courses also they can offer, or they can also exclusively design some courses only to offer through ABC.
Sir, next question has come from Dr. Sangeeta Joshi. She's asking, can foreign universities register to our ABC or is it limited to national level only?
There is no clarity as of now.
Okay, thank you. Another question is from Dr. Seema Agashe again. If Digilocker NAT facility can be used without registering for ABC, yes, but you can answer, sir. Yeah.
Not possible.
Questions are still streaming in. Just let me continue, sir.
Yeah.
The next question which has come to us is from Srila Dasgupta. She's asking, what about courses conducted by foreign universities? Are they to be accepted? I think your answer was given, but you can repeat, sir.
Yeah, I will repeat because it's also my domain. You know that I'm a director international relations. So what we need to do is every university is allowed to go ahead and sign an MOU with the respective higher education institutions abroad and define a credit transfer mechanism between two universities and decide your students to send abroad for one semester. That is also possible. But whether that is also allowed to register within the ABC, there is no clarity from UGC guideline as of now. As of now, the higher education institution has to sign an MOU, agree for credit transfer, and once the credit is transferred from foreign universities to the respective higher education institution, it is the credit earned through foreign collaboration by the registered student. So it is a responsibility of higher education institution, wherever student registered, to upload it to NAD.
Yeah, thank you, sir. One question has come from Vinita Pimpude. I think madam is associated with Podar College. She's asking that how do we add NSS credits? In Maharashtra, there is this concept of giving credits for extracurricular activities and no other such kind of programs as well. So is there any structure in ABC for that?
There is no structure. Any credit a university decides, they can decide under a particular title, and that itself can be uploaded.
Okay. Another question is from Dr. Seema Agashi again. She's asking, what will be the mode of teaching for courses registered under ABC? Only online or blended? Then what about science and practical courses?
Yeah, it is up to the respective university, whichever offers it, because there are virtual labs which are available now for some set of courses. I'm sure it is not possible for all practical purposes, but there are few virtual labs which are available. Whatever courses can be offered online without any physical infrastructure, that is allowed. Else, if there is a possibility that without overlapping, if a student wants to go to next college and learn something, that is also possible. Ultimately, it is up to the higher education institution, whichever enrolls students for that particular course, they have to decide how they want to teach, how they want to assess, and how they want to provide laboratory for them.
Next question has come from Dr.
And, let me continue. That is the reason I said core courses or core elective, it is better to keep it with the respective host university, home university, not the host university.
Correct, sir. Thank you so much. Next question which has come is from Mr. Rajesh Rokade. He is asking, can we use partial credits for a course and the balance can be used later? Now to this question, let me add a question which was asked yesterday, but we had not put it up for no answer to the resource person because we felt it was not related to the domain. The question was related to how do we redeem the credits? So redemption of credits we discussed. So what is that concept and how do we do that?
Yeah, first question was regarding partial redemption. Partial redemption is that facility as of now on ABC, it is not available. And whenever he earns certain credits, let us assume that he earned 4 credits for one particular subject, student has to decide that whether he want to use that credit for redemption or not. If he is not willing to redeem, fine. Whenever he want to redeem, he has to go and transfer it to his institute. Once he initiates the transfer request, then only it will go to the respective university where he want that certificate or degree to be taken. That institution has to agree, then only that credit can be accepted. But partial credit acceptance is not allowed.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, you have added one more question. I forgot,
yes.
I think.
Yeah, so this was related to redemption only. I think you have answered both the questions. So let me move ahead.
Thank you.
One more question has come from Dr. Supriya Shinde. She's asking whether HEI is affiliated to the university but is still not autonomous, are eligible for registering under ABC?
No, if you are not giving your marks card, if you are not doing that, then you are not allowed. It is only for university or autonomous institution, higher education institution, which is eligible to give their transcripts.
Yeah,
I'm not saying about degree, transcript,
yes.
marks card.
Yes, yes. And a related question is, what about colleges not having NAC A grade? Sukda Jamle has asked that.
You need not worry because you are affiliated to one of the university which will have NAC grade. And obviously that university job is to register and upload.
Okay.
Not as a college.
One more question has come up is from Professor Francis Vedya. Digilocker is only for institutions or individual professors as well?
No, it is only for institutions and students are the stakeholders for using that. Professors, they don't have any role in it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. I think more or less we are getting through almost all the questions. Okay, one more question I've come across. It is from Archana. Sir, are certificate and diploma courses eligible to be registered here, or is it only degree programs?
Anything. Give me let me give one example for you. It's a good question. Let's assume that I am doing a BSc degree at Mumbai University, and I am a passionate learner. I go and register with several other universities, and I earn credit. Some credits I will use it for transfer it to my degree, where I have a predefined number of credit requirement as 160. Then obviously I will use some credits for that, but still I have left with some credits. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm left with some credit.
Yes.
I can ask the respective universities where I earned that credit to give me a certificate. A beauty of this academic bank of credit is it also says, let us assume that as a student, I earned 160 credit, okay, through various universities, and I have not taken a 50% course from any of the universities. And this ABC and its guideline says that any university can accept that credit and give a degree. Now the question is, what is the degree that university will give? Because it is not defined by them. It says that it is up to the institute, and the council will issue a special guideline that what is the nomenclature for that degree, which a student has designed on its own. There are crazy students, and yesterday's presentation also you might have heard. One student can parallelly do 2 degrees at 2 different universities. Example, one student of BSc who is a full-time student of Mumbai University may be pursuing, BCom from online or BA from online. It is allowed now. So when that is the situation, you imagine what is the flexibility this ABC gives. For fast learners, this is fantastic. If somebody are slow learners, obviously, he has 7 years of time. Okay, because in US and all, what happens is they never fix number of years. They say that earn these many credits from these domains so that you can get a major in this subject. Something similar is available through ABC. The concept of failure, year loss, everything is now going to be eliminated over a period of time. What we see now, 1 year lost, there is nothing like lost. Somebody wants to take a break of 1 year, he's allowed to take a break now. But those guidelines and rules and regulations are yet to come, but the goal is that, and ABC supports for that.
Thank you, sir. And this kind of also opens up a scenario where a student might be pursuing 2 degrees, 2 different institutions, setups, doesn't complete any of them, might be still eligible for a degree based on the credits earned.
Yeah, he will earn credits, and some university may accept those credits and give him a certificate and diploma.
Yes, very interesting.
Once he uses that is, you cannot use anywhere else.
Yes, the questions are coming in one after other. Let me put through few more questions. Shanti madam, how much time will you permit?
Yes, ma'am, we can take a few more questions.
Few more questions. So one more question has come from Dr. Seema Agashi again. She's asking if approval for course syllabus is required too. I think that's basic related to the university level, but you can answer, sir. In case any course is going on ABC.
Yeah. Please note, it is a university who is the ultimate authority to decide curriculum, delivery, and assessment and everything. Whether it is for the full course or whether it is only particular or special courses designed to offer on ABC, ultimate authority is the university.
Yeah, thank you, sir. One more question is, will there be any guidelines as to how many credits for a course and the level of difficulty, number of hours, etc. Will be coming out? I think what she's looking at is guidelines which give all these breakups. Is there any structure there?
That most of you are already doing it. Most of you are already doing it, and it is up to the academic senate and academic, what is that? You say, I don't know, how do you say that? We say board of studies. Okay?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, board of studies has to decide, what is the number of credit and what is the level of courses. All those things is the discretion of the board of studies, and ABC have no role to play in it. Yes. ABC is just a digital platform which allows mobility of students, flexibility, and credit mobility All those things are made possible with the help of ABC. And other thing, for fast learners, 1 semester break he can take. And that is not available as of now. But how all these operational issues is to be handled, that is to be debated by the Board of Studies. Let us assume, you cannot say that now we are fixing in 1 semester, you will learn all these courses. In the 2nd semester, you will learn this. Those things will go. Whatever mandatory courses he is going to take in the university, he will take at that time. But at the same time, when you are designing a syllabus, from my side, a caution is keep 1 semester free. Free means what? You can go for electives, you can go for open electives, you can go for skill development. All those courses you put in 1 semester. If any student is a fast learner and if he earns all those credit, prior to that semester, he can literally take that semester break. That is allowed in ABC and also in NAP. So at the time of deciding or designing the structure for any degree, my suggestion is either 3-year or 4-year, 1 semester you keep it in such a way that you will allow all elective skill-based courses, ability enhancement courses, NSS, and all those things you keep it there, so that some students can earn those credit prior to go to that semester, make that semester free so that they can use it to go to some other universities abroad or universities within India, or some other academic learning is made possible for fast learners.
Thank you so much, sir. Maybe 1 or 2 more questions we'll take. One question has come from Preeti Devesh. She's asking, are there any minimum asks for certification courses to get credits? Then another added question for her is, how many asks for 2 credits?
Yeah, it is up to the university to define. It's up to the university to define. Whatever certificate now NEP says, yesterday's speaker, he clearly mentioned, it's a level 5. Level 5 when a student enters a graduation, undergraduation. So UG, when he enters, it is level 5 as per NSQFM. Okay. And the learning outcome is also defined there. Once he meets that learning outcome, the total number of credit he earns, he is allowed to take that certificate. Something similar to that, the number of credits and the learning outcome, if it is met, then the respective universities, wherever he is taking those courses, can issue certificate. And number of hours, again, you said 2 credits, it all depends how you are going to define your credit. And usually, 1 credit means 1 contact hour per week, and it is for minimum 16 weeks. So that is how it is defined.
Thank you so much. Next question, which is almost like, I'll say last question. In case Dr. Shanti will permit me, then maybe 1 more question after that. Let me place this last question here. Also for internships, Archana madam is asking, also for internships, the credits are allotted now in vocational education and expected under NEP. So how will ABC operate with regard to credits embedded for internships? And is there any specification for that?
Yeah, it's specifically if a student is doing internship in some company or somewhere, under the research lab, he is bringing back those learning to the home universities, and he is presenting it there, and the university will give the credit, because company cannot give credits to students. Any research lab, wherever he is going and he is studying, and they cannot give credits for them. Credit has to be given by the home universities. If he is doing it through the skill development through vocational courses, then obviously that is available in the ABC from those universities, and which he can initiate, transfer it to his home universities.
Last question, let me take up, sir. This will be definitely carrying a brief answer because it's a basic question. Can any credit of technical, that is, say, for example, engineering courses, can be used for degree in science?
It is possible, but it is up to the university to accept or reject.
Okay.
Policy per se says that engineering students should study something from humanities. Humanities students, if they are interested, they must be allowed to take technical. So when it's a question of science, obviously technical credits can be accepted, but it is ultimately the board of study of the respective university is an authority to define and decide either accept or reject.
Thank you so much, Professor Karunakar Kotegar. May I now invite Dean, Science and Technology, Professor Anuradha Majumdar, Madam, to offer vote of thanks. Madam, over to you.
Thank you very much, Madam. It is indeed my privilege to offer the vote of thanks. So with this, we come.
Madam, you are muted. Yeah.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So with this, I wanted to say that it's a privilege for me to offer the vote of thanks. We come with this to the tail end of the workshop organized by the UGC Human Resource Development Center of University of Mumbai that was on implementation of NEP 2020. So if we have to sum up, we can say that this workshop has been like a boot camp for the NEP 2020 to get it into action. It was informative, it was full of guidance, insightful, unraveling ways of executing NEP 2020, which we had a lot of doubts in our mind, and also went into the nitty-gritties of execution of NEP 2020, the policy being translated to fine print with respect to how it can be executed. It gave us several leads of beginning the endeavor of executing NEP 2020 in the correct spirit of the document. Certainly, the 2-day half-day session, the workshop and the lectures bolstered and augmented our faith on the policy of NEP 2020. I'm sure all of us who have participated, more than 1,000 in count, agree to that. We would like to earnestly thank our resource persons who have covered important spectrum of topics, and they did full justice, complete 100% justice to the topics allocated to them, and they were experts in the same. Yesterday's workshop session post-noon, Professor Gauri Shah, 4-year degree program with multiple entry and exit was his coverage, which was very well taken. The second speaker was Dr. Rajendra Kumar Joshi, who covered on pursuing 2 academic programs simultaneously and twinning dual and joint degree program. Regarding this also, our attendees, our delegates, esteemed members of the university statutory bodies had a lot of queries and questions, and that was resolved and things became very clear. So these lectures gave a lot of clarifying, thrust on whatever questions we had on adopting these newer policies. Today's session started with Dr. Padmavathi BS's lecture, and it was on educational framework for global citizenship in higher education. I think the entire concept of GCE was new to us, and we have understood the role of pursuing not only the core courses, the technical courses, but also other than cognitive, the socio-economic related courses, so that our graduates and postgraduates come out as holistic global citizens and understand the concerns of humanity, nature, and our entire planet and system as a whole. Professor Karunakar Kotegar, it was indeed a privilege to hear you. A very well articulated and illustrated presentation in very simple words and without any complication. You articulated so well on academic, bank of credits and NAD and the Digilocker, in execution. I feel in all the 4 sessions, the question and answer being taken by Dr. Smita Shukla was highly fruitful and clarifying for all our attendees. And thank you very much from the University of Mumbai to all the resource persons. Heartfelt gratitude for your enlightening lectures. I would like to thank our authorities, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Suhas Pednekar, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Ravindra Kulkarni, Registrar, In-Charge Registrar, Dr. Vinod Patil, and our Registrar, Mr. Sudhir Puranik, They are the ones who give us the aid and assistance and give us the beacon, the light to conduct such programs and workshops. Members, honorable and esteemed members of Management Council, of the Senate, of Academic Council, Board of Studies members, University IQAC, coordinated by Dr. Smita Shukla, directors and head of the departments of university departments, principals, teachers, registrars of institutions, deputy registrars, assistant registrars of university administrative sections who are also part of these sections, other staff, very important back-end section, that is DOICT, that is the team which is providing us with the IT support. As you know, sir, that this plays a very important role in any of these virtual sessions. All our delegates who have attended, we could see more than 450 today, total registered delegates were 1,000. Thank you very much for your presence, participation and active discussion in Q&A during the 4 sessions. Last but certainly not the least, Dr. Shanti K, Director of UGC HRDC, Dr. Smita Shukla, Coordinator of the University IQAC, and Dr. Prashant Naik from the University HRDC. Thank you very much for composing, spearheading and executing this wonderful workshop, which was needed as a takeoff for executing a new education policy 2020 in the true spirit of the policy in University of Mumbai and for others in other universities as well, because it is not for one university, that all the universities and HEIs are going to work in unison to make NEP 2020 executed in the correct spirit, giving the right amount of flexibility to university within the rationale of and logic of what courses are required by the students to acquire their degrees. Thank you very much. I hope I have not missed anybody. If I have missed, please pardon me for that. It was not intentional. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Let me add, because this is a message I've just now sent you. So let me add those 2 names, Aniket Patel and Herschel from my institution, management students. They also were throughout with us and were providing us back-end support. So I also extend my thank you to them. Thank you, madam, so much for accepting our request to give this comprehensive vote of thanks. Shanti, madam, over to you with your instruction. Then we will close as you say.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Thanks to one and all, and we will close the session, and we are planning to organize some more such NEP programs with all your help and support. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks to all the participants. So we will be closing the meeting now.